Knowledge and learning underpin the progress we make, as individuals and as a society. When we know more, we can solve new problems and explore fresh possibilities. For hundreds of years, Oxford University Press has been committed to sharing the best in human thinking. From a child reading their very first words to a researcher expanding the frontiers of their field, we passionately believe in the transformative power of knowledge and learning to inspire progress and realize human potential. But the world is changing. When all information is at our fingertips, data needs understanding. As content crowds every screen, ideas need space to breathe. And when the next great thinker can come from anywhere, they need to be seen. So Oxford University Press is changing too. Whether we're making learning work for anyone, anywhere, anytime, connecting a global community of English language learners, or helping influential ideas achieve greatest impact, we will meet the needs of education and research in new ways, with new ideas, for new audiences. For as long as the world keeps making progress, we will always be advancing knowledge and learning. Oxford University Press. Advancing knowledge and learning.
Are you looking for an easy and time-efficient way to teach English to young learners? Then try Buzz, a new primary course designed to do just that. With Buzz, children will have lots of fun learning grammar and vocabulary through stories, games, and videos from around the world. Plus, every unit offers think, feel, grow activities and exciting flexible team projects to help develop their confidence, communication skills, and understanding of the world around them. Buzz gives you all the teaching support you need, including detailed lesson notes and digital tools, so you can get started right away. No extra work necessary. No matter how little teaching time you have, create a real buzz in your classroom and help your students fly toward success.
Together, we get results with Beehive. Bees are vital for the future of our planet. So are young learners, who have the skills to collaborate and achieve results. Beehive is a new primary course that helps students gain the life skills and the exam results they need to thrive. By combining a comprehensive grammar and vocabulary syllabus, with an exciting collaborative learning approach, Beehive encourages children to work together to achieve a shared goal and develop collaborative skills that benefit them in the future. With every unit offering exciting team projects, think, feel, grow activities, and stories and videos from all over the world, Beehive empowers children to learn about the world around them, grow their global skills, and fly through their exams and beyond. Learn, grow, fly. Together, we get results with Beehive.
Knowledge and learning underpin the progress we make, as individuals and as a society. When we know more, we can solve new problems and explore fresh possibilities. For hundreds of years, Oxford University Press has been committed to sharing the best in human thinking. From a child reading their very first words to a researcher expanding the frontiers of their field, we passionately believe in the transformative power of knowledge and learning to inspire progress and realize human potential. But the world is changing. When all information is at our fingertips, data needs understanding. As content crowds every screen, ideas need space to breathe. And when the next great thinker can come from anywhere, they need to be seen. So Oxford University Press is changing too. Whether we're making learning work for anyone, anywhere, anytime, connecting a global community of English language learners, or helping influential ideas achieve greatest impact, we will meet the needs of education and research in new ways, with new ideas, for new audiences. For as long as the world keeps making progress, we will always be advancing knowledge and learning. Oxford University Press. Advancing knowledge and learning.
Are you looking for an easy and time-efficient way to teach English to young learners? Then try Buzz, a new primary course designed to do just that. With Buzz, children will have lots of fun learning grammar and vocabulary through stories, games, and videos from around the world. Plus, every unit offers.
Try to make that a little bit bigger. Sorry. And okay. Thank you. First of all, thank you so much for having me here today and for including me in today's learning. As you've heard, I am currently a grade 4 teacher in Hong Kong at the American School of Hong Kong, and my name is Emily. This is my first time in Korea, and also my first time presenting. So, thank you. I might be a little nervous, but it's okay. So I'm nearing the end of my midterm holiday, and as a teacher, you know how much you just cherish when you have those holidays coming up. It keeps us going. And it's been my first time in Korea, and I've just enjoyed it so much, and this is a great way to end the holiday before I head home tomorrow. So again, thank you for giving up your Saturday and coming to learn with us. So before I begin my little spiel, I'm gonna take you on a little story of me and who I am to give you kind of context of how I became a teacher, a little storytelling for you. So I grew up in a small town in California, just outside of Sacramento, California. And I didn't come from a very diverse neighborhood. However, I grew up alongside many teachers who were very globally minded and helped me become a critical thinker, along with my mom, who also taught for 30 plus years as a kindergarten teacher. So my sister, myself, and my mom were all teachers. It's kind of in our DNA. So that's oops, I didn't click enough. Okay. So eventually, my journey led me to Asia and abroad, and teaching abroad has changed my perspective on teaching immensely. And then COVID hit, as we all know. And when COVID hit, suddenly I found that we were finding ourselves teaching online, and it completely changed my outlook as a teacher. I realized just how crucial it was to make kids feel nurtured and cared for, especially when we were stuck in the virtual classroom. And that's really hard, and especially in Hong Kong, we were online for a very long time. So that's when I turned to storytelling to help kind of foster that nurturing and caring community in my classroom when we were online learning. So it's really, I realized over time that digital storytelling is not just telling a narrative story. And it was a way for students to create, connect, think critically, engage outside of Zoom, and it was just a great way to kind of, make online learning fun. So that's when I started diving more into digital storytelling and how to make it more intentional in the classroom, and how I could use it, and more teachers could use it in their classrooms to also promote critical thinking and inclusion. So thanks for listening to my little story there. Okay, so as a teacher, it's hard for me to just stand here and just deliver. I'm used to having kids move around. You don't talk for more than like 10 minutes, and then you have to stand up, or else they're gonna be like totally somewhere else. So I won't make you stand up or do too much today. However, I am going to ask some turn and talk. So most of you probably already have heard of find an elbow partner, but if you haven't, if I ever ask to turn and talk, if you just can turn to like your elbow partner, it might be two people, it might be just one person, to talk and discuss the question. If you don't know what to say, that's okay too. You could just talk about what you're thinking about. So just have fun, and I hope that you enjoy and get something out of today, and you're able to take something away from today's presentation and actually use it in your classroom. So, so we're gonna start with just talking about what critical thinking is, and then, so kind of just the what is this stuff and how can we intentionally choose books to help us provide critical thinking skills for our students, make it easier for us to provide those critical thinking skills. And then we'll go into how it creates a sense of diversity, belonging, and inclusion in our classrooms. And I'll show you some examples from students of mine throughout the years. And then at the end, we'll do a little activity where hopefully you can take stuff away from today. So yeah, you might need your phone too today. Okay. So this is where the turn and talk comes into. What is critical thinking? So with an elbow partner, when I say go, with an elbow partner, can you just turn and tell you what your understanding of critical thinking is? Yeah, if you could want to do that now. What is your understanding of critical thinking? You might want to introduce yourself too. Might be some stuff up here. Okay, let's see if this works. Okay. That's okay. Sure. I forgot to mention the signal, but it's okay. I'll also mention this. No, finish up your conversations. Okay, thank you so much for engaging in the first turn and talk. I know I'm probably interrupting and cutting off some people right now, and I apologize for that. If I do a turn and talk, the way that we do this in our school and a lot of schools around the world, the give me 5 signal, so that's just a way to quietly end the conversation and not cut people off, let them finish their thinking. And it gives that wait time to let other students kind of get their thinking in as well. So it's just like giving your full attention. When you see it, you can put your hand up so others can kind of see we're ending. So thank you so much. So critical thinking. The definition refers to the ability to analyze, evaluate, and synthesize, create information to make informed decisions and solve problems effectively. So lots of words. What that means really is it's to get our kids to stop just answering those remembering and understanding questions. It's moving them from the bottom of Bloom's taxonomy questioning into the top. Studies have been done that show that the more we use questions out of the top 3 tiers, the more our students learn. So we need them to remember some just basic facts. However, when they can actually analyze, evaluate, and create, they're going to take away more from that. So we'll talk about how we're going to get there. So why is it important? Why do we need it? What is it? So I'm no scientist or doctor. However, I came across a really interesting article about something called neural branching versus neural pruning, so your brain thinking. And what critical thinking supports is the synaptics in your brain make connections, and they keep making new connections if you are inquiring in those critical thinking tiers. So when you stop those, that's when you're pruning and you're stopping those connections, and you're not helping students open up and have different perspectives and think critically about other kind of other situations. So It also helps to promote communication, helps students reflect on the world around them, not just what their own thoughts and feelings are, which is hard sometimes, and collaborate more effectively with others because they can understand others better. They can adapt, create, link. There's so many things. Okay, so critical thinking is so important, but it's not always the easiest thing to do, and to just come off and think of these critical thinking questions in the middle of a lesson. So one thing I've done in my classroom is I posted up in different places useful verbs to help me remember to try to push my thinking and push my questioning past just the remembering phase. And I also make that very clear to students. I teach 4th grade, so they're a little older, might not be for kindergarten students, but I think lots of students are more capable of understanding how they're thinking than we are, so. Okay, so there's some verbs. I will be sharing all of this with you later, all these different resources that I have up here. However, there's these verbs that you can kind of post up in your room if you wanted to, that help to create analyzing questions or evaluating questions, or a creating question or an activity. So when we analyze, we're breaking down concepts into parts to show the relationship among them. Okay, when you evaluate, you're making informed decisions and informed judgments about the values and the values of ideas or materials that they're using. So is this a good source to use? Is this a source that is reliable if we're actually researching something? And then when we create, we're actually bringing it all together as a part of a knowledge to form a whole and build relationships for new situations. So to make it easier on ourselves, we want to start moving into making sure that the books that we're teaching help us form those critical thinking questions. So when you're intentionally choosing your books that you're teaching with, it just becomes easier, more inherent in the book that you're reading. So kind of, no, next one. So when you're selecting stories, we want to think about how they are supporting caring for our planet, this global mindedness of not just for where we live, but how are we thinking about our world? Recycling, reducing, reusing, recycling, those kind of things. So understanding others, building empathy for others. Does it show others being advocates for those in need? And then also, are people using research to make changes? And if we're reading books that have diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging in them. So it's showing students exactly what that looks like and helping them understand that. So this is from a wonderful person that I saw. She has a blog, Leanne Lavender, and she is all about digital storytelling and inclusiveness. I would recommend checking her out, and I will share her information later as well. So she says it much better than I do. So thinking about the activity we're going to do at the end and about kind of feeling like we're a community in here and we have a sense of belonging. If you are not a teacher, you don't need to do this, it's fine. But if you are a teacher, I'm going to pull up a QR code soon, and I would like you to scan the QR code, and I will do the same thing. Thank you so much. I'm actually going to grab my phone and do that. And we're just looking at what are some topics you're teaching, because I want you to start thinking about one topic, maybe that you're teaching that's coming up, that you're teaching in the future that you already taught, just to kind of start getting you to think about how you could use this for something coming up in your classroom. So you could just open your phone, you scan it, and you just put a word in. Pretty easy, doesn't have your name attached to it, and it'll help us see kind of what others are teaching in the room as well. If you see it get bigger, then it usually means that somebody else is teaching that, so we're going to create a word cloud really quick. So I'm going to be teaching geography. And it should pop up eventually. It's very small, but that's fine. I'll give you some time to go in there. Ooh, environment. Geography kind of goes with environment, I think. Ooh, art has two now. That's good. So the bigger it gets. This is also something fun to do in the classroom. There's lots of free word cloud activities to just show what students are thinking and really quick. You can put as many as you want in there too. So it seems, friendship, oh, that's a good one. Lots of meaningful topics and units that are coming up in here. Makes it easier to come up with these questions. Okay. Give it a second more. You can keep doing this as I also X'd out if you have the QR code on your phone. It's already up there. Again, I'll share this with you too. I'll be sharing a lot with you at the end. So, oh, Susie the sunflower. That's a big one too. It really sticks out. Not sure what that is, but that sounds good. That sounds fun. Thank you so much for putting those up there. I want you to start kind of remembering what topic you're thinking about, and hopefully we'll use it later. Drag it over. Thanks, Haywan. Okay, we're good. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, here we go. So, one thing, I came across when I've been working with Oxford University Press is there are really great resources out there and books that help support this global mindedness and make those connections with students. So, looking at Oxford Read and Imagine and how it's paired with Oxford Read and Discover. So I'm not sure if you guys have seen this, but it's great. So I've just picked out 2 different paired readers that really show how, without even reading them, just thinking about this as a teacher, looking at festivals and fear at the festival, festivals around the world, that immediately I'm like, oh, it's gonna talk about different cultures and how they interact with each other. Okay, and Stop the Machine and Plastic, about recycling, how plastic's made, how we can recycle it, how we can help our planet. Okay, so all of these are different resources you could use, but with fact and fiction. So it's not just looking at all the facts about why we should recycle, it's also giving you a story to build that empathy and that critical thinking to make connections with the books. So I'm going to use the Fear at the Festival and the Festivals as an example of my thinking and kind of creating questions with it, some critical thinking questions. Okay, so with these 2 books, something that I was thinking about with my students is asking them, how do you think the events in the story might be similar or different in another country or culture? Or even if you're teaching in Korea, how would they be different if they took place in Korea, in South Korea? However, that's not always accessible by every student. The wording of questions can be difficult for some students, and they need scaffolding. So that's why I have a turn and talk again with this question. And we'll just do this once with the questions. But if you could turn to your elbow neighbor, remember when you see my hand go up, that means put your hand up. How might you scaffold this question to reach your students at their different age level or their ability level? So that could be putting it into a 3-part question or so. So how might you scaffold a question like this or this question for your students? Turn and talk, try it out. Can you do it? Like I'm not about to go. To build a scaffold is like when painters go and paint a building, they have to climb up to reach those tops. So how might you use like a easier question to get them there? Yeah, thanks for the question. Thank you. Thank you so much. I know I'm not giving you a ton of time to talk, and I know as teachers we love to talk a lot, especially in meetings, and that's okay. I get it. It's totally fine. It helps me feel at ease, actually, so it's good. Does anybody want to, if not, it's okay, I have a question. Does anybody want to share what their elbow partner said, or you said how you might scaffold this for your students? Go ahead.
Yeah, her student profile is like elementary school.
Elementary school, first graders, yeah.
And she's trying to use realia or the pictures because they don't have much smart eyes.
Yeah, so you even just using pictures or real things to help them understand it better. That'll help to just build that scaffold from the bottom. Great, yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, go ahead. Okay, yeah.
So it gets a little higher. You have to bring the questions down to the level of the students. Some of the students that I teach are first, second grade level. So when you think about that, you also have to look at your country. I try to incorporate where I'm from into the festival. So you're looking at the festivals here, comparing to the festivals in your country.
Yeah, using those comparing questions to maybe just you taking two from their country and your country to show them exactly. Yep, got to make sure that we're scaffolding, but we're not taking away that meaning. So there's so many ways you can do this when you have the right books and you're using those books intentionally as well. There's so many books out there too, so that you can use that will really support your topics. So I'm not going to read through all of these, but I'm going to click through them. I'll read one from them. We're just going to look at some more analyzing questions that you could use. So how might the story inspire you to think about people who are different from you? So how does this inspire you to think about people who are different than you? I clicked a little too fast, sorry. And then evaluating questions. So those evaluating questions, how is the main character of the story similar to or different from children in other parts of the world? And that could be scaffolded by just talking about in this classroom or from you. So giving them a chance to discuss and have activities to apply these ideas to conflicts around the world if you're at a higher age group. Teach, build compassion and empathy, and help understand others. So back to them. And then creating. Creating is where we're going to get into the digital storytelling aspect a little bit. Can you create a new character from a different country or culture? What might that look like? Can you create a skip for that? So different ways you can incorporate these higher level where they're synthesizing all their information. So before we go into like the actual digital storytelling, we're still kind of building that knowledge so then we can synthesize at the end as well. So how does digital storytelling and critical thinking and all this stuff, how does it actually make our classrooms feel like a family? Exactly what I call my classroom, which they always laugh at. But how does it build that sense of belonging over time? There's so many things that we do to make sure that we build this community in our classrooms. And it's interesting that something like digital storytelling can build that empathy for other students in the classroom so quickly. And I love using it for that. So I love this meme. So I mentioned this earlier, but a lot of misconception around when you hear the word digital storytelling is that it's like telling a narrative story. However, digital storytelling involves like, technically what I'm doing right now is a digital storytelling process. So it's not just a narrative story, it's using digital tools and multimedia elements to, such as images, videos, and audio to tell a story of learning. So it could be used to convey information. So just like if you're researching something or students are reading nonfiction, it can just be used to convey that information with pictures, words, and audio. And you can present your research findings there too, sorry. You can showcase a creative project, so a reflective poem that students did after a field trip. It could just be a picture journal where they speak over it, those reluctant writers that you may have in the classroom, using pictures to help them tell their story orally. You can express your personal experiences, which help students build that empathy with each other. When they share what's happening, what their experience was in something, they can build that community as well. And then, why digital? I was thinking about this today and last night, and being my first time in Korea, I live in Hong Kong, but this is the first time when I was walking on the street to cross the road, and there was a light across the ground. And that light is red when you're not supposed to walk, and it's green when you're supposed to walk, when you can walk. And then I realized it's for people that are looking down on their phone. And when you think about the why digital part, that's exactly why digital storytelling is being pushed, right? It's part of our world. It's gonna be there, and it's so engaging to students especially. So not all of us have one-to-one devices. There's so many ways you can use it collaboratively, even if you have just a couple devices in your classroom. So, and there's so many different ways to tell a story with videos, animations. There's so many apps out there that you can do an animation and draw it and then make the mouth talk. And you can make your stories interactive, so they're not just like reading a book. They can click on a link that brings them somewhere else and tells more about the student or what they've learned. Games, Minecraft education. I know it's like so crazy. I've never used it in my classroom, but I know teachers that have, and that's a way to tell a story and to really show like how they immerse themselves in a world and they can build a community. It's a great one. Images, infographics, and podcasts. So writing a interview for somebody in your community who is from somewhere else. So you're building that empathy, you can listen, or interviewing your parents who grew up during different times in different areas. So there's so many choices, and that's where we make our students feel safe in our classrooms when they have a choice. So usually, when I put this in my classroom, I always try to give at least 2 choices. You can do it this way or this way. So it's giving students a chance to show their learning and understanding, feeling safe that they can have a choice to do that. And it's fun usually because they get to go on their computers and find these images and make it fun for them. So the choice is huge, and that helps to feel like students of all different learning abilities can belong and bring their strengths at different times as well. I'm gonna go back there, sorry. That's just students presenting together, they may have, just with Google Slides, that's also what we're using here, to present information that they found. So this was one just in the classroom, very cute. Just some additional benefits and some things I've already talked about, but the engagement in our students. It's highly engaged when you're able to give them a tool that they can use and have choice with and find fun pictures and GIFs. They can also showcase their creativity in it, and some students really just blow me away with what they figure out on the computer and how they can tell their stories. And then collaboration, it's a great tool that students can use. I love when students use one computer to all try to collaborate on when they have their own, and then you're like, but it's still working. It's a great collaboration tool with those scaffolds in place that get those students to the collaboration on the computer. And then they can communicate with each other in different forms. Some students that don't talk in my classroom, they write stories and they put pictures and they're hilarious, and it makes them feel like they contributed what they can to the classroom, and it's building that sense of inclusion. Okay. So, what is an inclusive classroom? So before you turn and talk, I was thinking about adding to this question, but I was just gonna say it. What are you already doing to make sure that your students feel like they're included and they have a voice, even if they aren't able to read as well as another student or write as well, how can you make sure that these students feel safe and feel like they can be included? And if you aren't sure about that, what is an inclusive classroom? Just starting with that, what does that look like, sound like, feel like? Turn and talk. Find your Trello partner. Take a drink of water. Already getting better. Thank you. And again, I'm sorry for cutting it short. But thanks for having that conversation again and getting your brains thinking more. So an inclusive classroom is a classroom where all students are felt welcome and where community building is number one. You learn best when you feel safe. You learn best when you feel like what you said is going to matter and that every student's strengths can be heard and seen. Every student helps each other, and that's a hard one. Social skills and building that empathy is so important right now after students were online for so long. So it really, when you have an inclusive classroom, you're starting to move towards being able to help and learn from each other and understand each other's strengths and differences. And then every student is respected and their different learning styles are praised. So something big. That's one where when we're reading books intentionally and we're posing questions that promote critical thinking, students start to see other perspectives around the world and how other students and people think, and they can understand each other better. And it takes time, and it takes a lot of practice, and it doesn't always feel good in the beginning. But building those communities to get students working together like the ones here in this picture. Okay. So now going in, we've kind of talked about how digital storytelling promotes that inclusion a little bit, but just more explicitly how it promotes that inclusion. Giving choice, not telling you you have to do it this one way. You do sometimes have to do that as a teacher, and it's not fun, and I always say that to my students too. I'm very upfront with them, but you always want to try to give choice with them, and that really giving them choice between platforms is so much easier when you have the question and the framework of a digital storytelling idea or project or question. So it makes it personal to them. So when it's personal to young students especially, they really want to tell everything about them, right? They're very much internally thinking about themselves, and we want them to as well. We also want them to listen to others. It also helps students focus on and teachers focus on the process that it takes to get to the product. So we aren't in digital storytelling, I'm really very rarely focused on the final product. Of course, I want it to be great, and I want the kids to be so proud of it, but the process of them getting there is so important. And showing them that it's okay to make mistakes and to fail, and you can easily on your computer and in a digital platform, it's easier to change things, and they're more likely to make mistakes, see it, change it, grow from it. And so when you focus on the process in digital storytelling, students kind of build that risk-taking skill that helps them also feel like I don't have to, that's going to be sent out probably around the school, so I want it to look good, but my teacher and my classmates know that they care about how I'm learning, and that's the most important thing. And promotes risk-taking, said that. And it's a form of reflection, too, if you think about that process kind of cycle. They're processing, changing, reflecting, processing what they did, changing, reflecting. So it's just this whole cycle of the digital storytelling process. So this, how does it also make students more globally minded? Kind of going into this a bit again, it's where students can actually share their own lived experiences, promote empathy and understanding, and connect learning to the world around them. In that way, storytelling can be a powerful tool for the audience as well, not just for the students. So, and when you can put your students into a different place and to share their experiences, they become more globally minded themselves. So they can share theirs and they listen to others. They know the reason why they're sharing their story about a cultural event that they want to promote or talk about. And so it makes them feel really kind of included, and also they can learn more from each other. Sometimes, thinking about digital storytelling, it's hard to figure out how am I going to really make my kids feel more globally minded by doing this, and how can I really be intentional about that? So if you don't know where to start, I will share this with you later as well. The World's Largest Lesson is a great platform where it promotes the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, and there is actually the World's Largest Lesson. All of us could join it, our classrooms, and there's different digital platforms where your students can create stories that show what different parts of the SDGs look like in your community. So if you read a book about plastic and you're learning about recycling, there are many different lessons or different ways you can show it, and you can actually put it on a platform and students can access the World's Largest Lesson as well. I'll share the link to that as well later. So it's a great platform there to start. Okay, we're gonna look at some examples before we make one of these stories ourselves. So these examples are from my students, but before we do that, just to get you thinking about your classrooms again and the topics you were talking about earlier, and how what inclusion is and how it can promote inclusion. How might you actually, what are you thinking about right now? What are you thinking about? And how might you use a digital tool to help use digital storytelling more intentionally to promote these inclusive classrooms and global mindedness? So how might you use some digital storytelling platform more intentionally in your classroom about a topic you have that you've thought about? Any questions about that one? Yeah.
Korea is a culture where the older you get, the more exam-minded you are. So they don't do as many inclusive classrooms, especially when you get in middle school and high school, because they're so worried about tests. And they get to the point where in universities, they study by themselves. They don't study in groups. And I've had to push the students into their own comfort zone to get that to happen. It's very, very difficult. Whereas elementary, most of the teachers here are probably elementary teachers, right?
Yeah.
How do you deal with going from elementary all the way up to high school? Because students are worried more about passing a university exam here, getting to a good university, instead of learning about things like this.
Yeah, so I think when you're using it intentionally, and that's a great question, and I'm definitely not an expert on this, that, but I would just say the more intentional you are with how you use it in your classroom and how you can word and phrase questions It helps to build those kind of open-minded skills where they can actually learn more because they have to pull from different perspectives to actually create something as a whole, where I'm not sure what the tests look like here, so I apologize. But I would just say, if you are more intentional about using something like a digital storytelling tool, which could be an infographic or a presentation or a mind map, it could really promote how they're thinking critically and they're preparing for a test. However, they might not realize how much they are getting from that. So just being really intentional with it, yeah. And I think it also starts with teachers in the elementary school building that sense of understanding and how we can work together, collaborate, use this, and kind of as they grow up and they become older, they have those skills embedded in them. So hopefully, as elementary teachers, we're doing that in the future. But yeah, so didn't really get, thank you for asking that question. I'm gonna give you guys like 2 minutes, maybe less because I'm bad with time right now. But if you are thinking how you could use this in your classroom, what is one way you might use a tool to be more intentional moving forward? So 1 or 2 minutes. If you have an idea, if you don't, that's okay. You can just talk. Turn to your elbow partner. Share if you have any ideas of what you're thinking right now. Oh. Yeah. Yes, I do. Do you guys have that ChatGPT here? I'll mention that too, because that's honestly what I use a lot. So that's okay. It's hard. Yeah, that you can do that. Yeah, I think that's a good, thank you. I'll bring that up. Okay, good, that's what I thought. I was like, wait. Okay. Sorry, that was, I think, even shorter than a minute. But this wonderful teacher up here pointed out, and this is something I wasn't sure because of not living here if you were able to access it, but she wondered if you're able to use ChatGPT as a tool, because it is such a good tool to use for teachers to help simplify questions and scaffold questions, or to come up with critical thinking questions. Of course, I used it a couple times on this presentation. It really helps you to kind of, if you're at stuck at a place you're not sure how to make that more accessible to your students, ChatGPT is a great tool to help provide and to create critical thinking skill questions for your students. Even create a critical thinking project from a topic you're teaching. So yeah, definitely use that resource if you have it here. So we don't have it in Hong Kong, but there's ways around it. So, so yeah, that's another great tool, and to be more intentional in using that. So yeah, thank you. We're gonna look at some examples now. So this is more of a creative project. However, there's some reluctant writers in my class, and we were moving into narrative story writing, which is so big, and students have so many ideas, and so really trying to get these ideas in their head and out loud is sometimes what they needed. Sometimes they want to just start writing. Sometimes they want to draw a picture. So this is a student created video. We're going to just watch this one. It's about 2 minutes. And it's a silly story, but I still find it quite great. One thing I want to point out before, you'll notice that this is called Flip. It used to be Flipgrid. Now it's Flip. It's completely free app, and it is a platform where students can post short videos. You can put time limits on them, so like 1 minute. You have 1 minute, and this is your question. And they would record themselves, and other students could watch exactly what they said. You could record it without your face, which is great. You can record it with cartoons as well. So there's ways to make kids feel safe if they don't want to be seen on the camera as well. And it also will give you subtitles created by the app. So students, if you're trying to get them to write, they have the ideas here, they can use this as a writing tool to get them to actually write down their story now. So this student is so creative and doesn't want to write it down. He wants to talk. And so that's why I chose his as a one. So I think you click it here. I hope it works. Maybe not, 1 second, sorry. It looks like I can, oh.
Long, long ago, in a land far away, there lived the Apple Elves. The Apple Elves lived in apples as their name. There was peace and harmony. That was until the giants attacked. The giants were known to be the meanest, the baddest, and the biggest people to have roamed the planet. And it was no surprise that they ruthlessly charged at the Apple Elves. The army put up a good fight, but nevertheless the giants came out victorious. After they ruthlessly crushed every single apple house, 2 elves named Elizabeth and Edward planned to go into the Forbidden Cave to achieve the keystone. But this task proved hard, as the keystone was guarded by the chupacabra, a dragon with so many scales you could barely see its face. They jumped into the battle and fought for hours and hours, until they finally won the battle. Now that they had the keystone, they used its power to bring back all of the Apple Elves and give them 10 times their original strength.
So, very cute. Yeah, again, this was just creative. This is a creative way to do it, but to make kids feel like even if they don't want to write, they felt like they could and they could belong in the classroom and share everything they want to share. And the great thing is at home, students will actually go and listen to the stories, and you can allow comments, or you don't have to, or you can allow video comments back to the students. So you'll come back to school and you'll see these comments on them, and they're really cute. So it's a fun way. It's very free. It's very easy to figure out. So I would, promote that one. Oops, sorry. This one is something that I took from a colleague of mine that is from his other colleague as well. There's another app called Book Creator, and Book Creator is free for a couple books, I think. I'm not sure how many books, but you can actually create a book and put your pictures into it, and you put videos into the book and share these with your school, share them in your library as QR codes. You can actually, in certain areas of the world, print it out as a book and have them sent. But this teacher, she had her class do a retell of the Gruffalo. So each student had a part. I shared the actual video on a Padlet that I'm going to share with all of you later. And so if you want to watch it, you can. But it's just a way to just reiterate retelling even and understanding of a book and help kids work together and collaborate on a project. And it also incorporated drawing and costumes and arts and all this stuff. So it's really great. Another one is Pixton. So this is a comic creating app. There's so many free comic creating apps out there. And Pixton, it has been used in many ways in my classroom, and students like using it just on their own. And so one I showed was about a student who was new to school at the end of last year. And she was trying to get her caught up on all the things we've already learned, and not learned, but like the routines we've had and the apps we use and the different things to get her on the computer and figuring out what we do. She was quiet, very, very quiet. She seemed nervous. Her parents were worried that she wasn't, so I was like, okay, I want to make sure I'm there for her and everything. Showed her this app, had her make her avatar on it, and she did this on her own at home, and it was just a really cute social emotional kind of way of feeling connected. So giving students a chance to create outside of their classroom. She just wrote about her first day of school. This wasn't even an assignment, so I just found it. I was like, oh my gosh, it's so cute. So the kids, when they have their own, it's just another tool where they can share, but only I see it unless I share it with the class. So the students can feel safe to share things with me in a different manner than just face-to-face. And then you could use it as an educational tool as well. We learned about the anglerfish. Quite terrifying. But this was just a way to make it more fun instead of saying we need to learn about the process and the product of how these systems work together with different plants and animals. So they were able to do a lot of research and in the end had 3 choices, and one was Pixton to show how these different parts of an anglerfish work together using different vocabulary. So it can just enhance the knowledge and kind of synthesize all their information that they've been learning in different subjects. Canva, I'm not sure if you've heard of Canva. Another free one for teachers. If you have sign up with your teacher email, it is free and it is getting better and better by the day. I actually created this presentation through Canva and then needed to put it in a different format, but Canva has lessons, templates, everything for your students and for you. It even translates now every presentation, I don't know how well, but into Korean as well. You can type it all in English, do the whole thing, and they can press the translates it also. Canva is free, super simple to use for students, and it's just a presentation, video, infographics. They can collaborate on a project as well. So one was just, we read a book about being kind, and students wanted to create kindness posters to put around the school, so Canva was the tool, and we put them around the school. So I'm gonna give this a chance. And then Padlet, this is what we're gonna go into next. So we don't have a lot of time, so we might have to finish this later, but Padlet is a way that I help students to use each other as a resource and use the strengths of each student and creativity of each student. So if we're talking about the theme in a book or just finding prepositions, it just makes it a little more fun. And then students that aren't sure what that is or what that looks like can actually go to the Padlet, read some of the sentences, and then find their own, as best they can, a preposition or a theme in the book. So kind of learning from each other, sharing resources, which is what we're gonna do. I'm not going to make you discuss this right now because we don't have a lot of time, but just trying to think about what we've talked about, bringing it all together. How can we kind of take different topics, use digital storytelling, make a meaningful, global-minded assignment with it, or activity, or just questions. So we'll discuss that one today. It's more of a synthesis of your time with me today, and I really appreciate how great you guys have been. So today, just before I step off, I would like you to think about the topic that I've been asking you to think about the whole time, one that's coming up. So I chose our changing Earth. That's kind of like our topic title for myself. You would choose your own. Then I would want you to choose 2 digital resources that you feel comfortable with, that you maybe already know about, and you're just like, oh, I need to get this back in my classroom. And that you could do to synthesize information about the topic. Right, we're looking at the end goal here. So I thought about using a podcast and a video, maybe switching things up if we've used Canva too much one time. I might be like, okay, I'm gonna use 2 different ones this time. And then create an activity for your students using a critical thinking question stem. So I'm gonna go back to this in a second. So my question, I'll go back and slow this down a bit. My question that I came up with was, in what ways can we better prepare and respond to natural disasters in order to protect ourselves and our communities? This is the end goal. This isn't just give this to the students. You might do it as a pre-assessment. This would be like the end goal, right, of a topic. So if we have time for this, I'll still share this. I would like you to share it on the Padlet, but I understand if you're not. So I have an example here. I'm gonna go and good. Okay, so that's why I have these. They're for the end. So thinking about, sorry about the noise, thinking about a topic, digital story resource, and critical thinking STEM. If you scan the QR code, there's a Padlet that I created with lots of resources, and you have access to add anything you want. If you have resources that I didn't mention or resources that you use, as well as to share if you have time or you really want to do this over your break, to share some ideas that you were thinking about to create some end goal for your students. So if you are sitting next to somebody you know and you guys are teaching the same topic, you can also talk about that right now too. I'm going to just hang up these for the couple minutes. It's time now, I realize. That's okay. This will be shared up with you on the Padlet, and I know it's time right now. I was hoping to get through and actually give you time to process this, and I realized I didn't do that, so I apologize. But my hope was to really have you synthesize all the things we talked about and take away something that you might be excited to try in your classroom. So over the next course of the day or week, this is always going to be there, so you can use this, save it on your phone, and we'll share the resource too later maybe. So I'm sorry we didn't have time for that. I was hoping that we would create some idea of an activity, and hopefully you guys feel inspired to do that still, even after I leave the stage today. I really want to thank you for your time, and I'm sorry we didn't have the chance to do the hands-on activity. Thank you so much for having me here. I hope that you really are inspired to go help your students think critically and use digital storytelling. Thanks.
네, 감사합니다. 지금부터 10분
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for the warm welcome. It's really good to be back with Teachers in Korea after a few years away. So I'll come back to this survey in a few minutes. Our topic for today is cultivating communicative success, collaboration skills for young learners. So we're going to look at collaboration skills, and this is a really important topic for today. The theme for today is unlocking global potential. That was our big theme. Do you remember? Fostering lifelong success. Well, if we're going to foster lifelong success for our students, we need to give them skills like collaboration skills. We had a very good question earlier about the value of digital storytelling and collaboration, where many students in Korea will focus on their exams. But let me tell you, there is life after exams. Your students don't think so, but there is. And in my work, which has been remote for the last 4 years, everything that I do from day to day involves collaboration skills. Now, you might say, Ollie, what's your work? What do you do? I'm not an airline pilot. I'm not a cruise ship captain, although I look like one today. I'm a consultative, an educational consultant at Oxford University Press. And in fact, this month is my 25th anniversary working at Oxford University Press. That wasn't a cheap way to get sympathy from you. I've visited Korea many times, and it's a pleasure to be back here working with you. And I think this is a really important topic. So what I want you to do is we're going to think about collaboration skills by starting off with an activity. Don't worry, it's not chanting, it's not singing. But you have these chips, right? I'd like you to get them out. I'm going to do a quick activity with you, and I'm going to ask Emily to help me. And this will just be 30 seconds. You don't have to stand up. Okay? Oh, Ollie, I'm so tired. Okay? It's a very simple activity. So can you show me your chips? Good. I used to work with young learners, right? Good. So hold them high. Hold them high. Okay, very simple activity. Now poor Emily has no idea what we're going to do. Okay. It's very simple. So I'm going to put the instructions on the screen. Okay, everyone knows rock, paper, scissors? Rock, paper, scissors, 1, 2, 3. Right? Let's just practice that. We'll do it this way. Just rock, paper, scissors, 1, 2, 3. Okay, Emily wins. Now, when I say go, okay, you will play rock, paper, scissors with somebody near you. Anybody is okay. But this is how it works. You'll play rock, paper, scissors first. Rock, paper, scissors, 1, 2, 3. Emily won again. Now the winner, Emily won, takes the loser's chip. Okay, all right. And then we play it again. No. So Emily's taken the chip. Now Emily and I, we're going to practice this language pattern. So Emily's going to ask me, what color is this? She could use the chip, she could use her clothes, she could use anything she wants. And I answer the question. The winner asks the question, the loser answers the question, and then we play again until you lose all your chips. Okay? But the key point is the winner of rock, paper, scissors asks the question. That's the key point. And the winner takes a chip. Okay, got it? Okay, with young learners, you say, got it? And all the kids go, yes. And then they start playing, and they have no idea what they're doing at all. Okay, so we'll see how we go. Now, come back. Okay, so Emily introduced the silent signal, right? So when you're playing this activity, you see me do this, I want you to copy me. I have to save my voice, okay? All right, so are you ready, everybody? Identify a partner, so find somebody next to you or behind you or in front of you. Are you ready? Oh, I can't hear you, Sol. Are you ready? That's better. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. Rock, paper, scissors. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. What color is this? Perfect. Okay, we got it. Thanks. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Thank you very much. Did you enjoy that? Okay, well, we only have 40 minutes to keep playing, so. Okay, now, in a moment, we're going to come back to that game. But before we do, let me just review what it is we're going to talk about. Now, I am breaking the golden rule of PowerPoint. Don't have too much text on your screen. Okay? But hopefully you can just skim read it very quickly. So sometimes teachers come to a workshop and they have no idea what I'm going to talk about. So I know you're here to see Emily and Setsuko. So this is what I'm going to talk about. Quickly read through it. Quickly read through it to yourself, not out loud. The key point here for today is that we're going to talk about collaboration skills. We're going to talk about some methods of developing collaboration skills in our students, and some practical ideas for implementation. Just to start, this is a big topic and we only have a very short time. And I will get you to share your ideas a little bit using a word cloud, which Emily's done, so you know how to do that. But developing these collaboration skills is so important for the future. And you are probably communicative language teachers. So you have a natural focus on speaking, reading, writing, listening. But today we're talking about all the skills that go around those things to make them successful. Okay, so it's a big topic, as you can tell, but we're going to have a try. Now, earlier I asked you if you're a member of the Oxford Teachers Club, and I'm just going to see if any of you had a chance to respond. Okay, so what I can see on my screen here is that 37 of you said you are not members of the Oxford Teachers Club. Oh, it's just gone to 38. 30 of you are members of the Oxford. Oh, it's changing all the time. But the point here is, it looks as though there are many teachers in this room who are not members of the Oxford Teachers Club. Okay? Now, I work for Oxford, but the Oxford Teachers Club is a free club for teachers, and it brings together all of our resources and materials for you and your textbooks. Okay? You just sign up with an email. There is no money involved. So it's free, even better, right? So after this session, if you're not a member of the Oxford Teachers Club, I'd like you to speak to the OUP team and think about joining the Oxford Teachers Club, because there you'll find lots of resources and materials, activities to support your textbooks, worksheets, a webinar library with hundreds of hours of webinars by experts where you can learn about different topics. And this is an example of the kind of support that we give you, and it includes textbooks. And I'm very excited to say that today, as Kelly said at the beginning, is your first look in Korea at Buzz. So Buzz is a new 7-level primary textbook series. You have sample materials in your bag. But stop! Don't look in your bag. Please focus on me, okay? So I am not trying to sell you Buzz. I want to talk about communicative language skills. But the great thing about Buzz is it teaches communication and collaboration skills together. And I'm just going to pull some examples from Buzz today. You don't have to look at Buzz during the session. If you have questions about Buzz or Oxford English Hub, which is a digital platform where we bring all of the Buzz materials together for teachers, please speak to the Oxford team outside during the break and they'll be happy to help you. But I'm super excited to be drawing examples from Buzz because Buzz does exactly what I want. Collaboration skills, not only language building. And I will give you some examples as we go through. So, what we're going to look at is what is collaboration, some benefits and challenges of collaboration. Now, you are teachers, so I can be realistic with you. There are always challenges to trying new things, right? But teachers are very strong because you try things again to learn how they work and adjust them. So we will look at what are the benefits of collaboration skills and some challenges for you to think about as well. And in the last part, I'm going to touch on some tips for activities which you can do to introduce collaboration skills into your classes. And the good news is, you're probably already doing some of these things now. So really, it's more of a focus on thinking about collaboration skills and setting your students up for the future. We're going to start with what is collaboration? Now that sounds like a really easy question for teachers. What is collaboration? Okay, well, I'm going to challenge you around this word in just a few minutes. But collaboration is much more than working together. Okay? I'm going to give you a definition from one of our research papers, and we provide a lot of free research for teachers around the world. Here is a definition for you. I know you're fast readers, so I'll just focus on the key points. Okay? Collaboration has a shared goal of producing something, such as a poster, a dialogue, a story, a board game, or a digital story, right? So you're producing something. Collaboration draws on the strengths of group members and engages them in the learning process. So when you looked at Emily's students, those groups of students have different strengths to use. And you know that your students are all little individuals, right? They all have different strengths. But focus on collaboration here as a shared goal of producing something, working together. That's really important for today. Because with that in mind, let's go back to this activity. I'm going to give you just 1 minute with a partner. I want you to think about this activity we did. Is this a good example of collaboration? Yes or no? Why or why not? Okay? And when I say go, I'd like to hear you discussing with a partner. Is this activity a good example of collaboration? Yes or no? Why or why not? Okay? 3, 2, 1, go. And think about this definition. Please go ahead. What do you think? You use those chips. So that activity we did with the chips, is it good collaboration or not? Okay. What do you think? Do you think that activity was a good example of collaboration? Okay, okay, all right. Obviously, I'm a much stricter teacher than Emily. Okay, so that activity that we did, is that a good example of collaboration or not? Excellent. Give this gentleman a round of applause. But I know many of you are going to say yes and no, right? Now, I don't have time to explore in detail, but I'm just going to cut to the chase. As the gentleman in the audience said, in some ways there is collaboration here, but it's so light, right? In terms of the definition of collaboration that we looked at, there's almost no real collaboration here. Students are not producing something together. Now, you could argue they are talking, so they're producing language, but they're not sharing their strengths to produce something, right? There's no creativity there. Don't get me wrong, this is an excellent language drill. Students will love doing this, right? You're going to have to fight to stop students doing this, okay? But it has its place as a language drill, not as a true collaboration activity. So as we're looking today, we're thinking about collaboration and collaboration skills. You have to think critically, there's that word, critical thinking, about the activities that you do. Okay? And in communicative language teaching, we are all very focused on activity, activity, drill, drill, game, game, which is fine. But that may not be building collaboration skills. So, something like a project is a much better example of something with true collaboration. Students are working together, combining their strengths to build something new, right? And in Buzz, we have projects throughout Buzz. And what I like about Buzz is every lesson has something called Team Up, which is optional at the end of every lesson. You can download a worksheet to do a mini activity that promotes collaboration. Or at the end of every 5th lesson, there is Project Extra, which has a nice downloadable worksheet for you to do a bigger project where you might cut, paste, color, create, etc. So it's built in for you. But the focus here is on projects as an opportunity or an example of creating real collaboration. Okay? So, we've talked about collaboration. What are collaboration skills? This is what we want to get to. Is it the same? Is it different? Well, again, I want to get your ideas here. So, what I'm going to do is, again, just with your partner or somebody next to you, I want you to think about collaboration skills, and we're going to build a word cloud together again. As you can tell, presenters love word clouds. Teachers love word clouds. So I want to see your ideas. So in a moment, I'm going to put a QR code on the screen for you. But I want you to think, okay? Collaboration, as you can see here, involves learners working together with the shared goal of creating or producing something, such as a poster, dialogue, story, or board game. That's collaboration. My question for you is, what skills do young learners need in order to successfully collaborate? So to do that, what skills do they need? What skills do we have to give them for their future? That's my question for you. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to pop a QR code on the screen, and you can go there and or use this code you can see here. Go to menti.com and try the number. And I'd like you to put in there, you can answer 3 times, just a short answer. What kind of skills do young learners need in order to successfully collaborate? If you can't do it, perhaps just work with a partner, okay? And I'll also put it up on the screen. So I'll just give you 1 minute to do that. If you don't want to go here, just talk to your partner. What skills do young learners need in order to collaborate? Okay? Just 1 minute. And I'm just going to check. Am I on the wrong slide? Okay, let me change that. My computer is telling me very helpfully, oops, something went wrong. Okay, so let me just log in there. Okay. Yeah, I can't get in. Yeah. So if you can't get there, just discuss what skills do students need to collaborate successfully, and we'll try and fix this.
Where is this? Oh, yes, it's now connected.
Okay, so you've had a minute or so. What kind of skills do young learners need in order to collaborate? Boom, the magic is happening. Thank you, CoX Internet. Okay. Good, so these are some examples of the kind of skills students need. Feel free to keep contributing while I talk. So these are good examples of skills, right? Excellent. So people are putting communication skills. I was hoping you might be a bit more specific. What skills do students need to communicate? They need communication skills. That is true, but what kind of skills do they need? Maybe we'll see some answers. Okay. Empathy. Yeah? They need empathy. Very good. They need patience. They need a willingness to listen. They need to be open-minded. Do your young learners have all those skills? No. So this is why we need to teach collaboration skills, to help them do those things, right? So what I'm going to do is just move away from here for a moment, but you can see the skills there. Somebody's put listening. And the larger the word means more people have said that. So many of you saying patience, many of you saying listening, many of you saying open-minded. And these are all good examples. Okay. So we've got these collaboration skills. And here you can see an example in a more academic use of language of some of the collaboration skills that we want students to have. Take a quick look. Do you agree with them? Which do you think is the most important for you? Trust. Trust, that's a good answer, for language learners especially. Trusting your partner as students get older is a very big one. Okay? Other ones that you might like here are openness, curiosity, and ability to solve conflict. Okay, now we're not talking about actual fights, but when students work in projects, some students say, I want to draw the picture. And the other student says, I don't like writing. I want to draw the picture. And then you've got a conflict. Okay? As a teacher, I don't want to be solving those problems in a class of 30 students. I can't. So helping students to do these things themselves over time leads to good collaboration. And you can see here, respect, good communication skills, and also, as many of you said, an ability to listen. Listening is so important. In today's world, it seems as though everything is constantly talking at other people. rather than listening to what other people have to say. So these are all important skills, and they underpin collaboration. These things sit under collaboration and help collaboration happen. So that's why we need to work on them. Now, to be perfectly clear, I know some of you are going, Ollie, my 6-year-old students cannot solve conflict. In fact, they are the source of conflict in the classroom, right? Or you might be thinking, my students are very young beginners. They don't have any English language. How can they communicate with each other? These are very practical problems. And what I'm going to try and do today is to give you just a few tips later on about how you can develop these skills. But before we do that, let's just review what are the benefits and challenges. Because let's be honest, you are busy people. Your classes are full, your days are full of preparing. Okay, so we have to admit, along with the benefits, that there are challenges. Let's be realistic. But I want to start with the benefits of collaboration skills, hopefully to convince you that this is worth your time. And the key thing here is all underlined in yellow. Okay? But I hope as you read through, you can see why collaboration skills, learning to listen, solving conflict, developing trust, patience, are all important. Because there are many benefits to collaboration skills, and some of them you can see here. Developing social skills. Isn't school where you learn to work with other people? Of course it is. The language classroom is the same, right? It's that same opportunity. So, but also things like interpersonal, intrapersonal skills. You may have students who sit in a corner and do not want to talk. That's a normal part of growing up. Okay? But hopefully over time, through things like projects, through things like collaboration skills, they'll come out of their shells. And for me, very importantly, I want my content and my lessons to be fun and memorable. The more memorable the content is, the more students learn. So these are a few of the things that are benefits to teaching collaboration skills or developing them. Now again, I'm not going to talk through each of them here, but as you can see, these are all positives. And the one that really struck me for today's theme is lifelong learning. So as I said at the beginning, these skills of collaboration last forever, okay? Now, I'm a 25-year-old man. I'm just checking you're awake. I'm clearly not 25 years old, okay? So, as I mentioned earlier, in my work, I work from home outside Tokyo. I work with 10 different colleagues in Latin America, Brazil, Europe, Taiwan, Korea, Vietnam, the UK, in multiple different time zones. There is a lot of conflict. But the reason I can do that is because I've learned collaboration skills, when to listen, when to trust, how to work in groups. Okay, so in the future, this will be even more important than it is now. So for me, that's clearly a benefit of the project work, even that I did at school and university, even at my age. But you can see plenty of others here, right? For example, students working in groups and developing their collaboration skills. If a student gets to do something they like writing or drawing, their confidence grows. They stand up taller. They say to their mom and dad, hey, today I drew a picture in class and my teacher loved it. So these are all potential benefits. But we must also think about the challenges as well. And I've put this one at number 1 because every single teacher I talk to says, how do I have time to do these kinds of things, right? So we're going to look at some ways of dealing with these things a little bit later. We can support students through language and scaffolding, as Emily said. We can give them the language that they need to use. Okay? We can develop their collaboration skills through a variety of activities that I'm going to show you. And we can save time by weaving them into our lessons. So again, something like Buzz has collaboration skills throughout the units. So it's not a completely separate lesson. And I'm really happy to see that kind of design in textbooks because it makes people's lives easier. So, I've done a lot of talking. I haven't finished talking yet. Because in this short session, we don't have time to do a lot of interactivity with you. If I put you in pairs or groups, boom, that's 10 minutes. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to share some tips and activities on the screen, 5 or 6, and you can go away, you can try these, okay, with your students or discuss with other teachers. So what I want to do is share a variety of different ideas for you that I hope you'll find are both practical and interesting. So these tips and activities come from what we call our focus paper. So we have a focus paper, which is a free PDF, which is all about collaboration skills. And I'll share them with you today. In the last, I think we've got about 20 minutes or so. So the first tip that I have for you involves this famous quote. Rome wasn't built in a day. Did you know the other part of this quote? It's not quite so famous. And young learners won't change in an hour. Right? Yeah? I was really worried about this quote. Okay, but I hope we all recognize this is true. Very often, parents, schools, administrators, they want results yesterday. Right? That's the reality of teaching. But as teachers, we know Rome wasn't built in a day. Young learners won't change in an hour. And the reason I'm telling you this is, don't give up. Okay? To move your young learners from not being able to listen at all to listening and interacting, that's a big step. So let's be honest about that. But try to give yourselves time and try again. When you try an activity, the first time it might fail. Modify it, try it again. Okay? So let's look at some of these ideas for working with collaboration skills. But please bear this in mind. I think a really big tip, possibly controversially, but I don't know why it would be, is use the L1. So the L1 just means language 1. So in your case, L1 for your students is Korean. I live and work in Japan. My students' L1 is Japanese. And I'm a very practical person. I know there are probably teachers and classes in this room where English is forbidden. But I think where it's necessary to achieve a goal, a little bit of Korean is fine. A little bit of English is fine. But that's a personal opinion, okay? Don't write to my boss and say, it's the Oxford way, because it's not. It's my opinion. Okay, so for example, if you're going to promote collaboration skills and listening, you can't explain to 5-year-olds in English why they should listen. They won't understand you. But a sprinkling of local language can really help. And if you don't speak Korean yourself, okay, you may have a teaching assistant or somebody who can do that for you. But don't be afraid to use this if necessary, in my personal opinion, okay? Especially in my case, my lessons were 45 minutes long. If I have to spend 10 minutes explaining a concept, I've lost my lesson. So a little bit of language can really help when we explain some of the things we're going to look at today. Another one might be modeling collaboration. So those skills which you looked at earlier, who is the best model? The instructor, the teacher, you are. But so often we get so busy with organizing our papers, getting ready for the next lesson, tidying up everything, we forget that the students actually are watching you. They know what you're doing. They're not stupid, right? They're like little eagles. Okay, so modeling this is a great opportunity for you. For example, language. Can I have the textbook, please? Polite language is a collaboration skill. So modeling language, modeling behavior, these are all things you can do. And to give you a very good example, and just because I haven't embarrassed myself enough today, okay, chants are a great way to do this. So I don't know about you, but at the end of my lessons with young learners, my classroom is a disaster zone. Okay? There's pencil, paper, my stuff's everywhere. Next lesson starts in 5 minutes. What am I going to do? Well, you can easily do a chant like this, which is to the tune of London Bridge, right? Ah, yeah. Okay, as a presenter, that's the best sound in the world. Ah, okay, yeah. So I need a picture. I was once told I need more pictures. Okay, there we go, picture. So time to clean up goes like this. Time to clean up, everyone, everyone, everyone. Do it together, let's have fun. Let's get busy. Now, what gesture could I use? Time to clean up. What gesture could I use? I love it, yeah, yeah. Show me your watch. Show me your watches, everybody. Gucci, lovely. Okay, yeah. Okay, so let's do this. Time to clean up, everyone, everyone, everyone. What about the next one? Do it together. What will we do? Do it together. Let's have fun. Let's get busy. There you go. You see, your airline pilot doesn't do that, do they? Right? Yeah. So gesture, chants, a great example of modeling collaboration. But the key thing is you need to tidy up. Okay? The chant isn't for the students, it's for everyone to do together. And if I'm the teacher at the front, I can be tidying up my desk, showing that I'm doing it as well. Okay? Don't forget to model together. Another example of modeling is active listening. So we've already said that your young learners, some of them don't know how to listen, right? They're children. They don't know how to listen in their Korean class, let alone their English class. So the teacher modeling active listening can be very, very powerful. What is active listening? Any ideas? Yes, one teacher's going, Yes, that's right, yeah. Active listening, active listening. So active listening is all those things you do to show interest. And when you collaborate, these are key. This is not active listening. Help me, teacher. Right? Right? So, active listening, one way we can teach this is we can sit our students down, use the silent signal, and we can put some icons on the board. When we listen, what do we do? Eye contact, thank you very much. I thought you said eye contest. Not eye contest. Eye contact, yeah. So eye contact, do you agree? Okay, show me eye contact. Okay, I'm making some people very uncomfortable now. Okay, what else do we do? Yeah, we listen, right? So that's very obvious. But what about these ones? Yes, yes, yes. You respond to what people say. Uh-huh. Good point. Now, when I do it, it feels really fake. Uh-huh. Good point. Yeah. Okay. But kids don't know this. They don't understand about the importance of gesture, right? So you're not only using your body, you're using your voice. Uh-huh. Okay. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Thank you. Verbal and non-verbal communication skills are all part of listening. But for young learners, don't be afraid to model this, because when they do collaborate, they need these skills.
You also can repeat what they say so that they see that you have listened to them.
That's great, yeah. So you're reflecting back what somebody says. So feedback, yeah. So if somebody says, yeah, it's a great idea to go to the bank, I might say, the bank. Sorry, that popped into my wife. I think that was my wife. She said, you've got to go to the bank. Okay, yeah. But practice, teach learners how to listen. This seems silly to us as adults, but it's really important. Okay? Another example, simple cooperative activities. Now, I talked about projects because I'm a big fan of projects. I know many teachers worry about projects because they can take a long time, but they bring so many advantages to the table. But you don't have to do complicated things. Don't have to do complicated projects. Let me give you an example. Many schools, many classes might use worksheets. Do you give your students worksheets? Of course you do, right? So you might have a worksheet. I just happen to have one here. And in many classes, the teacher will give all the students a worksheet and the students work silently. Okay? Very, very simple technique. Just give one worksheet between 2 students. That's it. And then ask them to work together, right? I'm not doing anything difficult, I'm not doing anything complicated, but once the students get the hang of it, they'll look together. The weaker student won't understand. The stronger student say, I know this word. Yeah. So think about how you use your resources. One worksheet between 2 students. And you can say to the students, okay, today, don't worry about doing everything, just do questions 1 to 3. Okay? And then get them to work together like that. So practicing collaboration doesn't have to be super complicated. Okay? It's just a good use of resources. But if you do have time, if you do have space, using something like workstations. Now, we can't use workstations here today, but as I travel around Asia, I'm lucky in that way. I see many classrooms are set up very traditionally, like today, okay? When I visit Vietnam and I go to the countryside in Vietnam, there are 50 students in a classroom. Each student has a desk, right? These are kids, okay? Now, it's not easy for that Vietnamese teacher to make workstations, but if you can, putting 5 desks together here, 5 desks there, 5 desks there, and each workstation is a different activity, drawing, listening, speaking, talking. This gets students moving around in groups and working together. So, as you can see today, it's very difficult to have you collaborate, right? It's a real struggle for me as a presenter. So, workstations is one way that you can do that. But I realize that not every classroom is able to do that, right? But it's a really nice idea. Now, I am going to talk about something a little bit more complex, and that is social and emotional self-regulation. So young learners, they're not really very able to control their emotions, right? You walk into the classroom, kids are running around, right? It's like a circus sometimes. But we can teach kids to be self-aware and to understand their emotions. Now, as a 50-year-old man, when somebody says to me, I'm going to talk about your emotions, I don't really want to talk about it. Okay? But we can do this with kids because they're much more open than you might think. So it's a great opportunity to do so. So what can we do? As you can see here, talk about our feelings, learn to understand our own emotions and express them and control them, and understand our strengths and weaknesses. And I'll give you one quick example of each. So for example, through stories, we can explore emotions. Right? I'd like you to take a look at the picture of this woman here. How does she feel? Tired? Worried? Does she look happy? No, right, okay. What's she doing? She's making shoes. Do you think she's working hard? I think so. I think so. So through just one picture, we've started to explore some emotions. And I can feel empathy for this person. Okay? Now this is a story from Buzz, and Buzz has stories in every unit, picture stories. They're also available as animations online, so you can watch the animated version. But the reason I like this is that each story also comes with a section called Think, Feel, Grow, where we ask the students to look at the story and think about their own situation. So Emily mentioned the importance of personalization, right? This story is great. And in this story, as you know, the woman gets some special help, doesn't she? Some elves help her make the shoes. It's a very classic story. But asking the student, who helps you? My mum helps me. My dad helps me. My teacher helps me. Personalizing is very useful when it comes to emotions and understanding them. But if you want to get creative, and I think you could do a digital version of this, one simple idea about exploring emotions is to make a poster. So here's a blank piece of paper, and there's a place to write at the bottom. And with my young students, I might ask them to write the word happy. And then, as their homework, I want them to draw a picture of anything that makes them happy. What makes you happy? Don't say the coffee break. Okay, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. What makes you happy? Is it shopping? Is it family? Is it iPhone 15? I don't know, okay? But the student draws what makes them happy. Okay? Okay, this is cut and paste. I didn't draw it myself. The student draws what makes them happy. They bring that into the classroom, and we share those pictures around. We put them on the wall. And everybody will be different, right? So the students, through the art, have explored their emotions. We can share those around the room, and we can use them again, and I'll show you in a minute how we do that. Another way we can do it is, what makes you happy is a traffic light share. It's a very simple activity. I explain to the students about these traffic lights, red, yellow, and green. And we explore with the students emoticons or emojis for each one, right? And then when the students come in to the classroom, they know what these emojis mean. And in the classroom, by the door, you can have a little traffic light. And as students come in, they just touch the traffic light, how they feel today. They don't have to explain anything. They don't have to share with you. But if I'm happy, I touch here, I come in. If I'm sad, I touch here, I come in. And that way, as a teacher, you are also a hawk. You're an eagle. You get a sense for your students' emotional state, right? And to build on that, we can teach our students little ideas called if-then. If you're angry, then take 3 breaths. Okay? Okay, if you're sad, what would you do? If you're sad, then think about something that makes you happy. Maybe look at your poster that you put on the wall before, right? Very, very simple ideas. Now, my colleagues at Oxford University Press are desperately waving at me. Stop, stop. So I'm going to stop there. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you one final thing and then I'll summarize. So these are some ideas for emotional self-regulation and dealing with emotions and encouraging students to talk about emotions. But I did also mention strengths and preferences. So one idea when students work in projects is to get them to share what they are good at so you know and the other students know. And on Amazon, I discovered these colored lollipop sticks. And you can buy them in sets of 200 or 300 for about $8, right? Okay, so students must not lick them. But what you can do is, before your project, put some different colors on the classroom wall, okay? Red means I like drawing, I like painting, or I'm good at painting. Purple means I like to talk. Green means I like to draw. And at the front of your class, you have a big, big Tupperware box with hundreds of these, and the students take the one that they think they're good at and use that to work together. And it helps you understand their strengths and preferences as well. So these are just a few of the ideas I wanted to share with you today. You'll find more of these at the Oxford Teachers Club. But to summarize, let me just bring together what we've talked about for the last 50 minutes. And I know I've been doing a lot of talking. So collaboration skills really help learners to work together effectively to achieve the group's goal. And these collaboration skills underpin collaboration. So they're really an important part of the language classroom as well as the students' futures. And finally, you can see number 3, it takes time and effort, right? But it has a positive impact on language learning, which is what we want, and it's a lifelong skill. You have one of the best jobs in the world, preparing young learners to be successful in their futures. That's hugely rewarding, and collaboration skills can really help with that. And I think this quote by a Japanese writer pulls that together very nicely, so I'll leave you with that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you, Oli.
Hello, I'm Setsuko Toyama. As the co-author of the English Times series, I've been to Korea many times, but today I'm here as Beehive Buzz Starter author. I'm very, very happy to be here. I did my homework in 한국말. 안녕하세요. 저는 토야마 세츠코입니다. Beehive Buzz Starter 저자입니다. 오늘 마누 선생님이 와주셔서 정말 기쁩니다. 에밀리 선생님과 오리바 선생님이 훌륭한 프레젠테이션을 해주셨습니다. 저도 열심히 하겠습니다. 잘 부탁드립니다. 열심. 열심. I'd like to start with a warm-up activity. I always start every lesson or every seminar with a warm-up activity. Very, very important because our brain is a part of our body. When our body is warmed up, our brain is activated. And my first activity is called ID exchange. When you came in, did you receive a small piece of paper? Okay. Please write your first name. If you have an English name, like, well, when I checked in the hotel last night, the person at the check-in counter was, she's Korean, but she introduced me. She introduced herself as Margaret. Maybe her name is very, very complicated for foreign customers, but your name. And it's a very, very simple activity. And again, Emily will be helping me with this activity. Very simple. Watch. Hi. I'm Setsuko.
I'm Emily.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Now, I'm Emily. Then we practice the conversation again. Hi.
Hi.
I'm Emily.
I'm Setsuko.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I'm back to Setsuko, and she's back to Emily. Thank you, Emily. Now, with your elbow friends, will you do this activity? It will take 30 seconds probably. Please start. And remember this quiet signal. I learned it from Professor Kagan, and Emily learned it from Professor Kagan too. When I raise a hand, when I teach room full of children, all the children raise their hands and said, "Look at sensei, 선생님, 선생님 보세요, Setsuko sensei." So it's a wonderful way to help your students with the classroom management. So this is, when I do this, please do this. Okay? But now, back to ID exchange. I will give you 30 seconds. Go. Your language is, hello, I'm Nani Nani. Have you got your ID back? Okay, good. You haven't forgotten your name, huh? Good, very good. When I was invited to present on Oxford Day, I was very, very happy. And it made me very happy when I learned the theme of the day, global kids. I had so many things I wanted to share with you, the methods, principles, and classroom ideas. So I put the title in the middle, and I put all my ideas around it as a mind map. I think you have a handout. It's not a traditional handout, it's a mind map. Mind mapping is a very effective way to put your ideas in groups. If you put your ideas on a list, maybe some of the things at the down must have come up to the top. But when you put your ideas in this way, you have groups of ideas. And let's see, we're going to do the idea exchange later again, okay? I have been so absorbed in Emily's presentation and Oliver's presentation, so I need some time to put together my thoughts. Okay. Where is my... 열심히 하겠습니다. So, anyways, I have 4 groups of ideas. Rapidly changing time, learner profile, names, and colors in this order. And I have 40 minutes to go through this. So please bear with me, okay? Rapidly changing time. This was what came to my mind when I thought of global children. We didn't have the word global children, global mind some years ago, but it's a buzzword because we are living on a globalization, right? So what came to me as the biggest change in recent years was phones. Do you have your smartphone? Everybody has a smartphone. You do everything on your smartphone. You pay, you call, you take pictures. This was a cell phone, mobile phone, I used to use many years ago. But back then, it was high-tech. I was able to connect to the internet, but I changed to smartphone. This is English time, level 2, unit 4. In English time, some of you are English time users, I hope. We always had a functional dialogue. Hello, may I speak to Sam, please? Yes, sure, hold on, no problem. This was a wonderful, very useful functional dialogue, and we wanted to put into this scene. But now, do you always start your phone conversation with your video? You know who you're talking to, so you say, "네, 어디?" We don't usually say hello. You say, for example, when I call my husband, "What's up? どうしたの? 何してる? What are you doing?" But this is, even now, it's very useful on business scenes, right? So we need to teach it, but I don't start teaching this to a very young learner classes. Now this is Buzz, the starter, Unit 8. The opening scene is a birthday party. And you can see grandparents on a tablet. They live in a faraway places, so they cannot come physically, so they are joining the party online. Well, as an author, there was another reason. I couldn't put in 8 people, 7 people in one page. That was really crowded. So I really thought hard to put 2 people, very, very small. But actually, this is very modern and very real. I will show you a real picture. This is my daughter's family in in Kanagawa, and my son's family in Tokyo, and my husband and me in Niigata. And I think it's one of the grandchildren's birthday. They love to have an online party because they can eat cakes. Usually, so we don't eat the same cake, we don't cut the cake, but it's such a commotion. I have 3 boys, 3 grandchildren, 3, 6, and 8. They go, Seko-chan, Seko-chan. They call me Seko-chan, not grandma. Seko-chan, turn off the light the candle, eat the cake, I will eat the cake. So, okay, so, oops, I did something wrong. Now, if you take a look at the handout, did I write dial? With the evolution of the phones, the verb dial has vanished. Lots of people don't know what is the meaning of dial. Young children look at the old phone, they don't know what to do. The world is changing, and the world will keep changing. So we need to adapt to that. We need to look at the future. We're looking at young children, but they will grow up. So we want to give them useful language that they can use when they grow up, right? So that's the theme of today, I think. Now, one of the things that came to my mind as big change was the increase of the English speakers. Again, I'm like Oliver, I put too much text on one slide. I hope you are fast, quick readers. Anyways, it boils down to the fact that almost 1.4 billion people speak English, but not most of them. Most of them are non-native speaking people. We are non-native speaking people. ESL, EFL speakers. So this means our children, when they grow up, they will be speaking with non-native speakers more often than with native speakers. So we need to keep that in mind. This means our children will be communicating with people from various cultural backgrounds in various contexts, maybe on the internet, maybe online, maybe in person. Okay, so that's what I thought about big changes, rapid changes. Okay. Now, so as Emily and Oliver have been saying, we can help our students to collaborate well. You might be thinking that, do we need to acquire new methods to help children grow up as global children? Not necessarily. We are doing wonderful jobs. We're offering great lessons. So we need to expand the lessons just a little bit and do more pair work and do more group work. Okay? Right. Okay. Now let's move on to the learner profile. Again, I'm like Oliver, I'm putting too much text. Actually, you can go to the OUP website, but these are very important, so I would like to read aloud some of it. Students with global mindset and global skills can communicate effectively, appropriately, sensitively with others in a range of contexts. They can communicate effectively across diverse communication modes, written, spoken, or digital. And the next one is my favorite. They show empathy with others and understand a range of alternate perspectives. Emily emphasized empathy. And in Olive's presentation, empathy came up from among you. Children really want to be me, number one. Teacher, you like me best. But empathy, we can help children to grow as very kind people with empathy. What can we do to prepare our students for their future? Okay, we are already teaching very good English, so I'd like to, from now on, I'd like to show you some of the classroom tested activities, okay? But anyways, at this point, I'd like to stress empathy is the key word. So we are teaching English, but we can make our English classroom as an environment where children communicate in various contexts with their friends, work with their friends, and have empathy for others. So again, pair work and group work are good. Okay, let's see. I'd like to talk about names. Names are most important in children's vocabulary. These are 6 team members in bars. This is from starter, but in age level, in the inner cover, you have 6 children. They grow up. At this point, most of them are 6 years old, and 2 are 7. The pointer, the red one, this one? Okay, thank you. He's Tang. Let's practice. You can remember the names now, and then you can go back and you can just, teach the Buzz series like you've known it for many, many years. Tang, Omar, Emma, Nina, May, Hector. What is a good way to practice? I'm Emma, I'm Tang. We're going to do ID exchange. I need 6 people. It's going to take 1 minute, and you don't have to speak complicated language. Hello, I'm Emma, nice to meet you, and you exchange. 6 people? Oh, thank you. 5 more people, yes, thank you. You're Tan, you're Omar, you're Nina, okay. 2 more people, I'm sorry. You're Emma, and you're, oh, yes. Come up. Remember, you're 6-year-olds. No complicated language, okay? You did the ID exchange already, okay? What's your Yes, yes, yes. Don't, yeah, yes. Don't forget. Because your goal is keep doing ID exchange and get your name back. And then you can go back to your seat. So if you forget your name, you go, where do I go? So first, you can do this group work with their own name. But today I'm doing this for these people, for these wonderful teachers to learn the 6 characters names, okay? So, okay? And then you physically exchange the name cards, okay? I will give you 1 minute, okay? Your language is, hello, I'm you see those children. Okay. What's the language? Hello, I'm Emma, Nina, Tang. Nice to meet you. Exchange and talk to other people. Go, 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 go. Oh, you can go back to your seat. Yeah, you can go back to your seat. Yes. Yes, you can go back to your seat. You did a great job. You're great. You're great. The drawing on your card, I did it. 선물입니다. Yeah. So you can see that you can keep doing this. When you start using Buzz series, Beehive series, to make sure that your students know the 6 people's names, you can do this. You can make how many sets of 6 cards, and you can reuse them. Then, if you want to raise the level of the language with the older students, you can give the language. What's your name? I'm Emma. How do you spell it? E-M-M-A. How do you pronounce it? Emma. This might be complicated, but you can teach it very, very easily if you do it as a chant. What's your name? How do you spell it? How do you pronounce it? What's your name? How do you spell it? How do you pronounce it? What's your name? How do you spell it? How do you pronounce it? So, yes. So you see, it's very, very nice. This brings collaboration, and children just love doing it. And they are very, very eager to get back to their seat. So they keep talking, and they try to speak very fast. In my impression, with Asian students, if they speak English faster than they really need to, their proficiency, their fluency, their rhythm and stress gets better. So I congratulate you, the number 1. Okay. All right. Now let's talk about the names, the meaning of the names. I know Korean names have meanings because we use Hanja with Japanese names also. My name is Setsuko, and it means good child. My grandfather named me, wanting me to become a good person. And a lot of their names for girls ends with ko. And so when I make new friends from foreign countries, this is a nice story. My grandfather named me, da 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 da, and our communication becomes very smooth and friendly. So even with very young learners, ask your children, do you know the meaning of your names? And if they don't know, you can use your Korean and you can summarize the meaning in simple English and you can teach them, my name means a beautiful child. My name means a big river, whatever, okay? I think it will be wonderful if they can talk about the meaning of their names when they grow up and when they make friends from foreign countries. Okay? Okay, look at the 6 children again. Tan is Chinese. I only know that he is Chinese. Where do you think he's come from? He could be from Taiwan, he could be from Malaysia, he could be from Singapore. Okay? So ask your children, Tan is Chinese. What country, what part of the world do you think he's from? That's critical thinking. Oh, he's Chinese. Mm-hmm. No. What country is he from? Maybe your children will go to the world map. Maybe your children will look at the globe. And as teachers, you might like to know more about those children. Omar is from West Africa. What country do you think he's from? He could be from Egypt. He could be from Tunisia or Sudan. Emma is from the US. She's American. What part of America is she from? Maybe Hawaii? Your students might be interested in America, and they might like to look up 50 states of America. She might come from the same place as Emily. Nina and her big brother, 1 year older, Hector, they are Latin American. So they might be speaking Spanish at home while they learn and speak English at school. So what country are they from? They could be from Mexico, they could be from Colombia. And May is a Thai, so she's from Thailand. But she could be a Thai living in different countries. So ask your children about these 6 characters. It will be their curiosity, and they will expand their knowledge. Okay? Okay. This part was a very, very special present for you because you came to an author presentation. You know, one of the reasons I really was happy to accept the offer of writing the starter was that this is very, very international, global. On every page, you see different children, Caucasian, Latin American, African, Asian, people with you will see children with glasses, you will see children in wheelchair, you will see people with walking sticks. It's just wonderful. So you might like to explore the illustration, not just the language part. Okay. Okay. I'm really hoping to... Okay, let's move on to colors. Colors. This is my favorite topic. It's easy to teach too. Very easy. Oliver showed you an activity using colors. Okay? When I think of colors, I think of primary colors and secondary colors. It's science. This is from Buzz team up activity. They are making a color wheel. Tan, Nina, May, and Hector are making color wheel. do you see what they are doing? They have colored fan-shaped pieces of paper in 6 different colors and put them together to make a color wheel. What is a color wheel? This is a color wheel. This is a very simple basic wheel made of 6 colors. Those are 3 primary colors, that's red, yellow, and blue. When you mix 2 of them, you get 3 secondary colors. And now, even with 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, you can teach this in very simple English. Let's practice. Red and yellow make orange. Yellow and blue make green. Blue and red make purple. Right. I made a very nice song about 6 colors. I used the melody of La Cucaracha. La Cucaracha is a public domain song. I do this all the time. If you don't have to worry about copyright, you can use the melody. So da 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 da. What color is it? So, but it's arranged a little bit differently. Will you help me with the video? Is it starting?
What color is it? What color is it? It's red, it's red. What color is it? What color is it? It's yellow, it's yellow. What color is it? What color is it? It's blue, it's blue. What color is it? What color is it? It's green, it's green.
Did you enjoy the song? I have been teaching as volunteer in special need classes in elementary schools. And if you look at that page, you will see a girl, Asian girl in a wheelchair. It's an homage for one of my favorite students. Okay. 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 Don't look at it because I'm still talking about 6 colors. So we have 6 colors, and children know, Asian children know the color names in English very well. So you can add black, white, and pink, and gray, and brown maybe. And you can teach 10 or 11 colors at the same time without putting too much pressure on children. And that's what we are doing in Buzz 1. Don't open the book yet, but you will see it. You will see the page about colors, and we are teaching 11 colors at one time in Buzz. Okay. Now, how are we doing for time? Okay, well, we have time for chameleons. My chameleon. I love chameleons. You see, since the pandemic, I cannot go into the elementary schools quite often, but I still teach online lessons, and mostly as volunteers. Okay, and so I had to strive to go across to the students on the other side of the Zoom windows, and I came up with a wonderful, wonderful activity that worked online. What color is the chameleon? Yes, what color? So the language is, what color is the chameleon? You know, children, that chameleon is going to change colors, right? This chameleon is going to change colors. Watch. Can everybody see? Can you see at the back? Okay. He's going to change colors. Okay, so I'm going to ask what color is the chameleon, and your answer is it da 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 da. Can you do this? It's da 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 da. Can you do the gesture? It's. Yes, my children do this when they say it's. I think it's. Movement helps learning. Okay, what color is the chameleon? Yes, it's red. It's gonna change the color again. What color is the chameleon? Very good, small children. What color is the chameleon? Yes. What color is the chameleon? Thank you. It's very easy to make. Actually, the color orange doesn't work very well online. To some children, they look like brown. So blue, red, yes, because of the monitor. It's very easy to make. You draw a simple chameleon, cut it out, and put it on color paper. And don't forget the little eye. That makes the chameleon very, very cute. Okay. Okay. Now, in Buzz, as Oliver mentioned, every unit has a story. Story in itself is a power. Just reading the story is great. And Emily talked about creating online stories. I made a very short story about two chameleons. One chameleon is a fun-loving, outgoing guy who likes many different colors. The other guy is, I like brown. So you will see the story.
What's your favorite color? Hi! What's your favorite color?
Brown. What's your favorite color?
Green! Come on down! Look! What color is it?
Pink.
Yes! It's pink!
It's pink. It's pink!
Look at the sky! What color is it?
It's blue.
Yes! It's blue! Look! A rainbow!
What's your favorite color?
Red! Orange! Yellow! Green! Ooh, blue! And purple! What's your favorite color?
Brown.
Did you enjoy the video? I think you can have your student act out the story, and then they will be practicing correct, natural English as well. And And have your students review and recap the language? How many colors were in the rainbow? 6. Some of your students will say, "Teacher, there are 7 colors in the rainbow." So you might start a little discussion, or the students might go home and do some research. It's again curiosity and critical thinking. Okay? Now, I think I'm going to show you my last activity. I made this coloring sheet on my computer. It's very easy. What color is the sun? This person is going hiking, and there's a mountain, there's a river, there's grass, and there's the sun. What color would you use for the sun? Any red? Or some people red. Yellow? Orange? Other colors? Okay. One of my grandchildren, he colored it blue because on that day, the blue was his favorite color. Very, very free spirit. Most Japanese children used to color the sun red, while American children, yellow. Is it because the sun is different? No, it's not the scientific difference, but it's the culture. Okay? And so last month, with the help of a very good friend who is the homeroom teacher of a 3rd grade class of 28 children in a very small town, we conducted an activity and a questionnaire. And we had the children draw the sun and color it. 28 children. What color do you think they used for the sun? Yes? Yes, so this is in a Japanese elementary school. What about Korean children? What color would they use? Yellow, okay. I will show you the result. 7 children drew the sun, painted the sun red. 5 children painted it yellow, and 13 children painted the sun orange, and 3 children used more than 2 colors and mixed them. It was a big surprise for us because my generation and my teacher's generation, we kind of expected that most children would use red, but they are global. and after this activity, we asked the children 2 questions. The first question was, were you surprised that your friends colored the sun differently? And the wonderful answer, most children answered, no, we're not surprised. Because everyone is different. This teacher, this homeroom teacher, has been doing a lot of creative activities to help them, to encourage children to respect each other. And I think it's very, very fruitful. So the children were not surprised. You yellow, you red. I did orange, sort of. The second question was, why do you think your friends color the sun in many different ways? And for this question, most students answered, each person has different imagination, images of the sun, and and ideas of their own. And some students went a bit scientific and shared their ideas and knowledge and said, the sun has many colors. So everyone used one color they like. Another student said, the sun can be seen in many different colors. So this is not directly related to buzz, but when you have a chance to teach colors, try this activity. You might find your students' creativity and the fact that they are very, very nice, their empathy, and they respect each other. So a single question of what color is the sun turned out to be an activity of learning together and learning from friends. It shows that children respect differences, and that made us very, very happy. And that's the reward of teaching English to children. Now, lastly, I have 1 minute to mention Obansek. I know Obansek is the basic Korean 5 colors: black, white, yellow, red, and blue. I know they represent natural elements. I know they represent directions, positions. And Japan shares the same 5 colors, but the meanings are different. I think they are very, very important. So your young students can name colors. So if you can teach the meaning of the 5 colors, like red means fire, that kind of thing, I think it will be wonderful if they can explain their own culture in English when they grow up and make new friends from different cultures. So we are talking about creativity and critical thinking of children, but actually, I think we want to think about our own creativity, curiosity, and critical thinking. Because children are mirrors that reflect the mindset of the teacher. We have wonderful textbooks. We have wonderful, great teachers. Okay? You have great lessons. But if you add just a little bit of your own creativity to your lessons, your students will appreciate it. Oh, 역시 선생님. 사스가. And they will respect you, and they will learn, and as well as English. So I hope you will take a little hint from my presentation and Emily's and Ollie's, and try that in your classroom so that your children will not only learn English but grow up as 21st century citizens. Thank you. 제 이야기를 잘 들어주셔서 대단히 감사합니다. 건강하세요. 행복하세요. 안녕하세요. 감사합니다.